everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope today has been treating you well. In today's video I wanted to talk you through my top picks for pastel eyeshadow. Now I have got eyeshadow palettes, I have got little palettes, I've got big palettes, I've got everything in between. I've got eyeshadow sticks and I've got liquid liners. I'm covering it all and it's all pastel focused. We're coming into spring, obviously it is the time of year for pastels and I'm absolutely here for it, so let's just dive straight on in. There is one eyeliner specifically that I wanted to talk about because this comes in really great pastel colours. This is the Relove Dip Eyeliner. Now I will say right from the start that I don't love the applicator for this. I don't love the nib, I suppose. It's very firm, it's very large, I feel, for this sort of a product. However, if you can get over that, if you can make that work, the colours in this are absolutely beautiful. Obviously this is the white one, this is the only like lighter colour that I've tried, but this is so pigmented on the first swipe. It lays down a really great amount of colour, so you get that really intense amount of white liquid liner on the first swipe, but they also do this in a baby pink and a lilac, and I am so interested in picking those two up to give them a go, but I'm like certain that the formula is 10 out of 10. It's so pigmented, like I say, but it lasts really well. Really like those. And I don't actually, I mean, I probably should have checked. I don't know if they still make these, but these are the Beauty Bay shadow sticks. Now these two are a baby blue and a lemon. Both of these are like Disney collab ones, but again, these are so pigmented, like on the first swipe, incredible amount of pigment. So you can do almost like a liquid liner sort of look with these. They are so creamy and like an intense amount of pastel colour payoff, but again they last so incredibly well. And if you are doing a pastel-y sort of a look, these underneath will just make those colours work extra hard. Like if you've got an eyeshadow palette or something, make them work extra hard and really make them pop no matter what your skin tone is. If you pack one of these on your lid and then pack a pastel eyeshadow powder, words are escaping me today, if you then pack a powder over the top in a pastel colour, it will really intensify the colour and these will lock them in all day. So if you use something like this as like your eyeshadow primer rather than just like a regular primer, this will really lock in that colour. I will quickly mention the one that I'm wearing today because I do feel like this is quite pastel-y. I don't know how well you'll be able to see from that far away, but the like duochrome across the lid is giving pastel and I'm so here for it. The one that I'm wearing today is the MUA Utopia eyeshadow palette, and this shade down at this end is just mind-blowingly beautiful. Honestly, these little quads are so handy. Obviously they're tiny, so it doesn't take up a lot of room in your collection. They're so affordable and the shimmers are so reflective, like so reflective. The mattes are so pigmented but also really easy to blend. I also really like Desert Bloom. I feel like a lot of these palettes are quite pinky, but that is just the vibe, I suppose, for spring. So that is what Desert Bloom looks like. So I do feel like they're quite similar, but obviously you've got like that duochrome in Utopia, which like sets it apart. If you're wanting something that is just pink tones, whereas Utopia is a little bit more peachy, this is beautiful. Both of them are really, really beautiful palettes. Whilst we're talking about the tiny little palettes, and also like you've got some different colour options here, the e.l.f. bite-size palettes, just as a statement, like a blanket statement, the e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadow palettes are fantastic. They have so many different colours, but if we're talking about pastels, these two specifically, so we've got Orange Dreamsicle, which, as you would imagine, is oranges, but not like orange, if that makes sense. It's a soft orange, it's a pastel orange, so pretty. This one is 1 matte and 3 shimmers, which I feel like for pastels is quite nice, having the shimmers as pastels as well. Then I know that this one, like, it has 3 dark shades and 1 pastel, but the pastel is so pretty. This is Acai You, so just look how beautiful that lilac shade is. And I feel like where you've got the deeper shade, you can do something like you can pack that lighter shade across the lid and then wing out like a smoky liner in the darker shade, so it's still pastel but it's tonal with that deeper shade. I feel like they're just really, really well thought out, these little eyeshadow palettes from e.l.f. So then the next one, I've got a stack of eyeshadow palettes here that I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to try and be quite quick about it. Next up is the Colourpop Sweet Talk Pressed Powder palette. Again, this one leans pinky peachy, but it's definitely got some of the like pastel-y tones and again a few deeper tones, so you can do something like I say tonal and smoky. The glitters are absolutely beautiful, like this one is incredible. So you've got your like peaches, your pinks, and also like a really great like through the crease sort of brownie nude shade. Obviously all of these are like pastel palettes for my skin tone. I can't, obviously I've only got one skin tone, I can't say how well these will work on a deeper skin tone. Obviously you've got like a few deeper tones in quite a lot of these, but the pastels in this one is beautiful. Then also for like a whole palette that is just pastels and like very pastel focused, the W7 Sherbet Pop eyeshadow palette, this doesn't go deep, doesn't go smoky. Like the deepest shade is this one here, this purple on the top row, but so beautiful. You've got shimmers in a pastel colour story, you've got any colour that you could possibly ever need in a pastel muted, very light, very ice cream sort of a shade. All of these are beautiful. I tried this out for the first time last summer I think, and this is definitely one that is like gonna be in regular rotation coming into the spring. I feel like it goes without saying at this point, the Beauty Bay Pastels eyeshadow palette, this is in regular rotation in the spring for me. All of these are mattes. I have a very specific look that I like to do with this palette, and I will film that for you soon, where I do basically this sort of a look with like a wing, and then I take one of these shades on quite a dense sort of pencil brush and I really pack it onto the inner corner, but like above the crease, so it's really impactful. You get a lot of that colour, but it's still pastel, so it feels quite soft. These are the most intense pastels, and by that I mean I think that even these would show up on deeper skin tones because they almost have a white base to them, so that the colours, like the pigment, so like the orange or the blue or the pink, whatever, really shows up very, very intensely, even on the first swipe. Like if I just take this blue, which is called Cloud Free, like I just dipped my finger in there the tiniest little bit, like look how intense that colour is. But because it has that white base to it, I do believe that these would show up on any skin tone, and all of them are like that, where all of the shades are so intense, and they just, if you want something, just a light wash of colour, you can do that just with like a big brush, or you can really pack them on, make them really, really intense and sort of specific, and get the most incredible colour payoff. I absolutely love this palette. If you are looking for pastels and you're looking for mattes, you need this palette. I hope and I pray every single day that they will do a pastels collection in a £42, because honestly, how incredible would that be? So sticking with Beauty Bay, I feel it goes without saying. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, have you noticed? I've taken quite a few of my £42 palettes off my shelves here, because as I was looking through them I was like, there's a really great selection of pastels. So yes, you've got your deeper tones as well for like autumn or something a bit smoky, but if you're wanting pastels, these palettes really do it. So this is Berries. Look how many shades here are pastel-y, and you've got the shimmers that are pastel-y. You've also got a few purples. I feel like if you're wanting pinks and purples, Berries is where it's at. You've obviously, it's a £42 palette, so obviously you've got deeper tones as well. I haven't lost my mind. I know that there's like basically a black in here, I know, but if you're wanting pastels and you're wanting pinks, I really don't think you can go wrong with the £42 palettes from Beauty Bay. If you're wanting purples, like if you're wanting purple, I wouldn't necessarily go for the Berries. I would go for Midnight, because if I open that up, there's more purples. So obviously you've got your purples and you've got your blues. Again, obviously you've got a black, you've basically got a white, you've got everything in between. If you're wanting purple pastels, like you've even got pink based purples in this, like these ones, so pastel. Then you've got like more leaning into what I was about to say what I would call periwinkle. That shade is literally called periwinkle. Then you've got like sky blues, you've got like sea blues, you've got all of the blues and all of the purples. So if you're wanting pinks and purples, I would go for the Berries. If you're wanting purples and blues, Midnight is where it's at. Obviously if you're wanting pastel greens, you can go for the Earthy. I feel like there's, I mean, I'll get it. We're here, I'll get it for you, but I do feel like there's less pastels in this. I mean, there is pastels in this, but I feel like this is quite brown, and I don't feel like the browns really translate into pastels. There are some that are like the green pastel shades. I don't feel like there's very many pastel shimmers in this. That's why I didn't initially pick it up, but here we are. I'm talking about it now. If you're wanting greens, Earthy, obviously. And then I promise I haven't lost my mind when I mention this next eyeshadow palette. So this is the Beauty Bay Bright palette. I know it's literally a neon packaging, but when I was looking through this I was like, actually there's a lot of pastels in this. Basically all of this side is pastels, so it goes from like lightest at this side to darkest at this side. Obviously you've got like all of your neutrals across the top, then you've got your pink, orange, yellow, blue and purple. So you've got less of each colour, you've got less options, but there's a pastel pink in this, there's a pastel orange, there's pastel blues and purples. Like if you're wanting basically a rainbow, which is what this palette is, and you're wanting a few pastel options, but also you like the idea of having basically every level of sort of saturation, this is such a staple in my collection. I use this so much. Again, like I was saying about this pastels palette, the Beauty Bay Pastels palette, I really like this one to like very intensely pack on a pop of pastel, but you can also like blend it out with something that is a lot more intense. Like I say, this is such a staple, and this one over the Bright 2.0, there really aren't very many pastels in the Bright 2.0. If you're wanting, I mean that's not what this video is about, but if you're wanting like jewel tones and deeper tones and smokier tones, the Bright 2.0 is where it's at. If you're wanting the lighter and brighter, the Bright is where it's at. And obviously this is the 42 pan. All of these are the 42 pans, and all of these come in 9 and also 16 pans. I could not tell you off the top of my head if there's pastels in those ones. I would guess that there would be, because there would be like the gradient from light to dark in every colour story. I don't know, but they are the palettes that I recommend, well, palettes and eyeshadow sticks and also liquid liners, that I would recommend if you are in the market for a pastel upgrade for spring. So let me know, what's your favourite pastel palette that you have tried recently? I do feel like, where on earth have I put it? The Beauty Bay Retro Love, this has pastels in it. I don't think you can get this anymore. This has really great pastels in it. If you can find this, I don't think they have it on the Beauty Bay website anymore, but if you can find this on like Vinted or eBay or somewhere, this has really great pastels in it, and I am so excited to start diving into this some more for spring. But let me know. Let me know what your favourite pastel eyeshadow palettes are. I would love to know. I feel like, yeah, I've got the Beauty Bay basic pastels one. I just would really love them to bring out a pastels collection, like a 42 pan, because I just think it would be incredible and I would use it all the time. So let me know, is that something that you would like to see as well? Should we start a petition? I think we should. So I'm going to stop rambling now. I am going to take all of this makeup off and go to bed, because it is 11:30 in the evening. I need to get into my bed. So thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.